Fuck.
Okay, guys, welcome to the 5th episode of Super Spectrum. Me and my brother Steven here. We're going to review Weapons. I enjoyed most of it. Came out of the theater, came out of the theater not loving it as much as I do now, but still don't exactly love it. We'll get to my review, but um, Steve, thank you for being here. Slasher Steve, the one and only. He is our horror movie resident bullshitter or whatever. I don't even know if resident is the news term, but anyway, who cares? He's our expert on horror. And so I'm very happy he's here. He's the one who said that we should review this. Or he said, well, he said he was going to watch it. I was like, I want to review that with you so bad, so let's do it. So, last episode, the Fantastic Four episode. There you go. There's Steve. Uh, last episode, I said I'd be humble if I thought the movie could be made better because I'd be open-minded to the possibility of me missing something. I'm glad that it took a while after seeing this film, I'm glad that I took a while after seeing this film to review it because I actually found deeper symbolism than I had right after seeing the film. It's not extremely deep, but it is deeper than I thought. That being said, I think it will be mostly forgotten about pretty soon, like other films such as Long Legs.
Nah, but it
Uh,
left its mark with that iconic T pose. The T pose.
okay, all right. Um, so um, I don't think it'll stand the test of time and receive classic horror movie status. Um, I think that status is reserved for even deeper films with deeper meanings and well-crafted movies such as The Shining and more recently the film Hereditary. That being said,
I like this more than Hereditary. So, well, no, damn, it's so hard. Hereditary has really good fucking parts, but overall, I like this movie better. But I don't know.
I'm gonna share a little bit about why I think Hereditary is better. But anyways, that being said, I think the movie did have more blood, sweat, and tears put into it than the average schlock horror movie. And I did enjoy the themes of addiction and brainwash that the film touched on. I still think it could have said more. Much of it felt a little boring, and when the mystery was solved, I think they kept showing too much behind the scenes into what was actually going on, that it started to feel too fake. Um, I'm not usually a fan of black magic and witchcraft, especially when it's left as unambiguously real within the movie's world as this is. So like the all right, whatever, it's the spoiler review. The movie has like this little wand that she uses and it was like too much too physical and yeah, like too like to me that's not how it would work, but um I'm not um oh yeah, the film's version of witchcraft was silly, oversimplified, and unrealistic in my opinion because I feel real magic is more mental and spiritual of a thing than the physical way it was portrayed in this movie.
This was supposed to be more of like voodoo magic. That's what they were going for.
Yeah, but I
That's why
think
you
that
need.
a
Right.
lot of that is like placebo, and I also think, um, well, yeah, to me, like I don't really believe in demons. I believe in angels, and sometimes those angels can trick people into, doing things or stuff like that, or using the people to, for the greater good. I think, but anyways, I won't get into that too much. Um, and I was also thrown off with Hereditary or in Hereditary when all of the black magic was shown to be physical. Like I was like, I remember that was like totally killing my vibe when I saw that. I was like, oh, this is just another supernatural movie. That's like too on the nose. And but at least Hereditary showed less behind the scenes and left more up to the viewer's imagination. I understand this may be a nitpick for some, and the opposite of their own taste. So, if you liked Hereditary, or if you liked Weapons more than Hereditary, I think it's a lot to do with taste, but I'm going to get into how I think that Hereditary is much more well planned out and thoughtful, and well directed. I'm going to point out
This
some
movie
thing.
entertained me. That's what it is. This movie,
Okay.
Hereditary, I had to wait for certain parts, and then it was boring as shit to me. This movie, like the guy who made it is like has a comedy background, and that shit was like this movie was actually fucking hilarious in a lot of parts. So the boring parts were at least funny in this movie.
I thought the beginning was act like I said it was boring here, but I'm kind of just kind of being mean to, you know,
The
like,
beginning
because
of
I
this
mean,
movie felt like a book. Like the
yeah,
whole, actually, the whole movie felt like a book. It's like chapters.
to me, yeah, I thought the beginning was doing pretty well. I liked the mystery, but then, like I said, when it came to, just showing exactly what's behind that mystery, it kind of just, lost a lot of my interest. But anyways, that's personal taste. But I did think that the beginning of the film was pretty interesting, although like some of the symbolism was so like it felt random, like random references, and then like it was left so ambiguous that it's like, is that like him just being pretentious? Or anyways, but with all of that out of the way, I'll be on the nose with my score just as much as this movie was, and give it a 6.66. um Really, I'll round that up to a 7. Steve, what's your review? We're gonna do like a big spoiler discussion right after, but please share yours.
Uh, I don't know. I thought it was really good. It was all about like rituals and loss of life, like and people who are left after a tragic event. I got a lot of especially because it was 17 kids. I got a lot of Douglas Shooter vibes, at least like the tragedy of that. I think there was like 17 RIPs there, rest in peace. But so like I was like seeing what it was doing, and I do agree though, like yeah, like the movie was a lot better when I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Everybody's saying that. When we got the answers, I was like I wasn't disappointed, but I was like, okay, well fuck this bitch. But um so the movie though, like the dreams in the movie were like really great, like especially because my favorite like visual of the entire movie is when there's a giant like machine or like AR whatever, like hovering over the house, and then there's the clock inside there is like the ammo. I don't know. There was visuals like that like really also, like I said, the T pose I think is going to become like synonymous with this movie. Like that's its way of leaving its mark. Like anytime you see somebody fucking
Naruto did it already,
running down the street. Yeah, people are already like doing that shit. So,
so it's a meme if it is leaving a mark. But
well, now I mean, the videos I've seen, I wasn't even like, yeah, there was like a few memes, but there was also like people just like doing that because it's like kind of creepy, which it was. But I mean, so overall, I fucked with the movie. It was like kind of up my alley for the most part. I like the characters. They're all really fucking relatable. They're like real world people. They all have their own fucking baggage, and so that was cool. And I like how the movie was split up into chapters, like told by different perspectives. That made me think of Dracula because that's how the like Dracula like book is, like where it's actually just journal entries told by like different characters from the story. So I got that out of that. And the witchcraft shit, I thought, if anybody, I thought you'd fuck with that since you think the whole world is rituals. So that's why I'm like confused you didn't like that shit. But so I mean, I guess because
I'll,
you
I'll
said it
talk. I'll
was
talk about. I'll talk
simplified.
about that a little bit. No, and you're right, Steve. I like that aspect, but and her manipulating people. That's totally brainwashing them. That's what I'm going to get into. I'm glad that you knew that I would be into that part. But the only thing I was not, well, not only thing. Much of things I'm about to go into, but can
I'd give
you
a
want to
movie a
continue?
7 though. I'd give it a
Okay.
7. Yeah, like
Oh, awesome.
that's so I'm actually on like the same because like it wasn't like a masterpiece or anything, but I was entertained throughout the entire movie. So and like it's so hard to find any horror movies nowadays that actually have any goddamn originality, and this movie had it oozed originality in my opinion. So I was like at least like all right, I've never seen this quite before. I did get Hereditary vibes because of the cult shit, or not even a cult, just like witchcraft kind of shit. I don't fucking know, and like like demon possession. Also, I got long legs vibes as fuck from this because I'm like, oh, it's just like at the end of the day, it's just some fucking pale ass fucker who has like Satan on her side or his side. I'm like, fuck. So like it kind of like like everybody's saying the mystery part of this movie, the first like first half or like even more than half like was amazing, and then like when we figured out it's not that it's bad, I'm like, oh wow, that's kind of like what the hell. But like, and, then even in the characters in the movie, they say what the fuck a lot. So I was like, bro, like that was, it just felt like it was a good movie experience. So that's why I give it what I give it.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I think overall like it's a good movie, like um it's just like Steve said, it's not a masterpiece, and that's kind of what I say here. But two things on what Steve said. I'm glad that you said other people that you had seen like speak about the movie lost interest after the reveal of the witch, which like I said, that's where I lost interest. So I'm glad that I'm not the only one. I get into this review or later on in the spoiler section how I'm seeing everyone like this is the best movie ever. Like this, I love this movie. It's my favorite movie of the
It's
year.
because they're all starving for like anything different, which that's why they're like so blown away.
So yeah, that's definitely one of my reasons. I know a lot of, I'm sure a lot of people, you know, feel blown away by this movie. But and then my second thing is I didn't find any of it scary. There weren't even like any jump scares or anything, but which is pretty good. Like it wasn't like just trying to be that type, or it wasn't, just like trying to play with your
The
fears and
fear
stuff like
comes
that.
from the unknown part. That's the scariest part, is the shit that you don't know. And that's why when they do reveal it, you're like, oh, fuck me. But whatever.
Yeah, that's why Jaws, like Steve, that's your favorite director, or at least our whole time growing up, you would always watch,
He's
Steven
he's my favorite
Spielberg
director.
documentary.
Yeah, he's my favorite
Okay,
director still.
so yeah, and he's equal to my other favorite directors. So he knows, film psychology so well that you don't want to show the thing too much because like you said your fear is actually the unknown. Okay, and that's kind of where this movie, like I said, like she started showing all of her tricks and it's like okay, like no, but anyways, I was not scared of the witch or anything in the film,
Yeah, she
but
was funny.
Steve, do you remember, I've said this probably many times, my original biggest fear as a child
It's
was
another,
witches.
yeah, that's another reason why I thought you'd really get into this movie. But I mean, she's not even as scary as the Wicked Witch of the West. But like, I mean, that's just because that's childhood trauma. But this lady was just like, I just wanted to like kick her down the stairs and be like, "Fuck you, break your hips, bitch." But
I wasn't even really scared of the Wicked Witch, Steve. I was scared of like
I was
the.
scared of her. I was kind of scared of Wicked Witch of the West.
I don't even honestly remember if I was really that scared. I might have been like a little bit, but I know that was mom's greatest fear. But anyway, the when she was a child, but I'm thinking of like the child sacrifice, throw you in the cauldron, like cook you, and like that
Hansel and
witch.
Gretel.
That's what scared me as a child. And I think the psychology for me behind why I was so scared of that is that witches are women, and women are naturally more compassionate. They have to raise the child, they stay with the child. So
Have you
they're
ever seen
supposed
the
to be,
movie Witches? That movie's fucking amazing.
well, hold on, they're supposed to be nice. And so when they're not, when they're witches, it's the opposite of their nature. So it's just naturally more scary, I think. But I thought of that yeah, I thought of that myself. Maybe other people, I'm sure someone has also thought about that. But anyways, no, which is
That's a great
I
fucking
I
movie.
that's the only Robert
It's writ-
Eggers movie. I
yeah,
really like that movie.
written by the same guy. Yeah, Charlie and Chocolate Factory and BFG. I can't like. It's just like
Oh, is that Witches?
it's
That's the one where she is like floating at the end, right? Or something.
no. Witches is the one where like you see like the. And I like the original. Like the remake with by Robert Zemeckis is okay, but it has
Oh, that movie.
doesn't even fucking hold a
That
candle
movie
to the.
looks great. The Robert
That
Zemeckis movie.
movie is probably the best witch movie, like up there with like like Wizard of Oz, like the original, because that movie makes witches seem like they're really out there in the real fucking world, like they can make kids go disappearing like overnight, like and the lady
Right.
who played Morticia for and Angelica Houston maybe I don't know. She is the main witch, and the fucking makeup in that movie and Mr. Bean's in that movie, and like the animatronic. They have Jim Henson do the animatronics for the mice. Everything in that movie just came together. Not to get off topic, but yeah, that's probably
No,
the best Witch
it's a good
movie,
movie.
and I fucking love that movie. God,
Hmm. I think that I haven't seen that movie, but like the special effects totally like blew me away when I seen like Cinemassacre James Rolfe review that.
Nostalgia Critic reviews it too. I love his review.
Okay. That's the actually the review I think I'm thinking of because he spent like it was like a very long review. But
Yeah.
anyways, I love them both, Nostalgia Critic and James. But all right, Steve. Now here I'm gonna talk about something I really loved in the film, and then the rest up until a point is kind of pointing out its flaws, but for a reason. Like I said, I want to. If I'm gonna say I think a movie is not so good, I really want to come in with why I think it's not the best. So, um, anyways, and then at the end, I'm going to talk about the symbolism that I've
Oh,
picked up on
one
later.
last
Yep.
thing off topic. This movie was such a Marvel reunion of actors. We got Girl Silver Surfer, Josh Brolin, Thanos, Cable, fucking, and then Sorcerer Supreme, Wong. Like that's like three big Marvel people. I was like, that's crazy. This is a Marvel movie, kind of.
It kind of felt like a Marvel movie of horror films. Like it was kind of
Simplified, but it was entertaining.
yes, and the depth was simplified. Like there is depth, but it's very loose.
It's yeah,
But
it's a paper thin because they do a lot of Bible references in this movie.
well, I saw that and I bring it up, but yeah. So and then also how everyone just loved the movie like Marvel movies used to be loved. But anyways, and this might be the first Marvel movie of horror movies. But anyways, um, I really like how the principal knows that Justine doesn't want to hurt the kids when he tells her she should talk to them like their teacher and not their parents.
You know what I got out of that? I almost got like a little underlying thing of maybe she can't even have her own kids, or maybe not even because like she has like a physical thing where she can't have kids, but like like she's a fucking mess, so like she doesn't even want her own kids. She just like vicariously through these other parents' children, she like feels like she's like doing what a parent would do. But yeah, I don't know. I got like that out of that.
That's amazing. One thing I didn't write down, but um, she's like kind of breaking the school brainwash, that the witch represents. She represents brainwash in general,
She
but
was a
she's kind of going
scapegoat.
out.
She was the
Oh,
scapegoat.
interesting. Yeah, damn. Wow. So yeah, the movie is deep. It's just very like loose, like around. That's not the best word to say, but it's like hard. It's
Also, I
like
feel like this movie was so funny because the guy who directed it is also the guy who created The Whitest Kids You Know. That's just a little fun fact. It's crazy.
yes,
So,
and it's deep like how a dream is deep, like where the symbolism is so hard to pick up on because it's so subconscious that it's like. But I talk about it more how it's like a dream, but and I really like that. What it's a good and a bad thing because it's so subtle that it's a little bit too subtle. But anyways, so I like when the principal is like, Justine, don't talk to the kids like you're
I'm
their
gonna do you
parent.
the courtesy of forgetting we had this conversation.
I love him. I loved him so much. But hold on, Steve. Let me finish this because it is hard to follow what I'm saying. So let me just read this really quick if you don't mind. But Justine, what I'm saying is she had said she had gone out of the boundaries for something like tried to teach the children something out of curriculum, and then a parent must have called and got her in trouble for that, and now the principal is like, no, you can't go
When the
like
fuck
you.
did they say that? They didn't say that.
No, no. That's I'm just saying this is how it would have worked. This is why the principal tells her you have to be like their teacher, not their parent, because a parent is allowed to say whatever they want to the kid. The teacher, no, they're supposed to only say certain specific things. And if they go against what the parent says, then that's terrible. But anyways, I like that the principal was like okay with that and relate to it. I was a teacher, so but here, look. I do wish that Justine's informal and caring practices were more elaborated on instead of this brief reference were given. I would have related with it even more, as I am a former teacher who also went outside of curriculum to try to prepare my students for the real world. And I think in a movie that spent more time in the oven could have given us more from this interaction, even if it was just a poignant line expressing the way Justine stepped outside of the boundaries. So,
I think she kind of had that. I mean, it was very brief, but she had that one moment with Alex where she said, "You could tell me anything, you know that, right?" And he
isn't
literally can't tell her anything because the witch lady's holding his parents hostage.
but
So
the what I just said, that conversation between the principal and Justine is the first thing they talk about in the talk together within the movie. So that's before she does that.
right, I'm just saying that they had a moment where she like kind of like was able to.
Yeah, well, it's because she has a moral compass. She cares so much that she's not just gonna, go against her morals, if, the school gets in the way. But anyways, or their position in the school gets in the way. Like she's a teacher, she's only supposed to be a teacher in the school way, but if she wants to be a life teacher, could be a problem. Anyways, so yeah, Steve's watching Wednesday. I would watch that, but there's just way too much time. So I I
Season
would
two.
want to review it with him, but you know, I want to do other things. But anyways, um, many reviewers have pointed out stuff that was blatantly obvious to me, such as 17 kids missing, just like the 17 kids who died in Parkland. And some of that stuff they pointed out was less obvious to me, like 217 being from the Shining book. Like I already knew that, but I didn't make the correlation. I know
Matthew two
it's
seventeen, the Bible.
and then or a Bible verse about King Herod killing kids. Matthew 2:17, like Steve said. Didn't know that, but it was cool that they pointed it out. But I think that these references almost felt a little random, just like the giant AR-15 with 217 on top of the house in Archer's Dream.
That's my favorite visual. Fuck, I love
I
that.
know. They felt like pretentious ambiguities thrown in, especially because the movie's plot and messages aren't focused on an analogy for school shootings or bullying. Alex is bullied once in a while in the movie, and he has a shark backpack to symbolize he's being turned into a predator or a weapon, but he doesn't act like one. He's forced to do what he does to the kids to save his parents, but the students who shoot up schools aren't forced to do anything in order to save anyone. Even though
Right, it's not that
society, hold
literal.
on,
It
Steve,
wasn't
Steve, hold on, wait, Steve.
wasn't that
Even
literal.
though, even though society might have led them to be a predator. Um, I just don't think the analogy is very strong within the plot of the movie and the characters' actions, but I could see how the themes might all meld together in a more abstract way, like they do in Dreams and One's Subconscious. To
Symbolism.
me, to me though, it still felt more like laziness and a hastily written script. So that sorry, I knew what you were gonna say, or I didn't know what you were gonna say, but I thought it might be solved by just hearing me out on the rest of that. But here, I just have um, one really long thing. This one, just don't try not to interrupt right now, and I'll be done in 2 minutes.
Oh
So,
Jesus.
all right. So it would be hard to prove the laziness and hastily script writing. However, like when it comes to the themes and symbolism and stuff like that, and the ambiguities, and maybe being pretentious, but that would be hard to prove. And I'm not going to try to. However, I can prove one way in which the movie's direction was done hastily, which may strengthen my argument for the movie's deeper meanings being rushed as well. Um, the scene when the direction, oh God, Steve, the scene when the direction was rushed happens when Justine and Archer are looking at the map of the children's route they took when they left their houses at night. The routes Archer drew out on the map converge on one point, which Justine then signifies as being Alex's house. Only she doesn't point at the place where they converge and make an X. She points way below the lines in a seemingly random direction. Either that the director missed this or he didn't want to reshoot it. But this would never be allowed to happen in a Kubrick film, even though I know no one's comparing this to Kubrick. Still, it shows a huge lack of effort and care put into this film. It also shows the lack of effort into by the reviewers of this film, as I think this should stand out. But all I've heard is everyone rave about this film. Some saying it's their favorite movie of the year or the best horror movie in years. This praise seems over the top for me, especially when a much more well thought out horror movie called Heretic came out earlier this year, but that movie could have also gone over most reviewers' heads. The overwhelming amount of gushing reviews for this film makes me feel like the witch from this film has cast a spell to make everyone mindlessly love her movie. In reality, the parasite in this case might actually be the corporate and wounded Hollywood that pumped out this movie and made these critics not want to bite the hand that feeds them. But that doesn't make sense because all I heard was average scores for Disney's Fantastic Four, which had so much heart that I guess most consumers, um, such as the critics, such as these critics might not have enough heart, and so they didn't notice it in the film. That's why I'm saying it wouldn't make sense that they're going against Disney film, but they go against this kind of more indie horror movie. So in the end, it's probably all comes down to monkey see, monkey do. Like, oh, everyone loved weapons, or I love weapons. Everyone, it's just contagious. And then with the Fantastic Four, like, oh, you hate it, you hate it, hate it. Like, oh, okay, I'll hate it. Like, um, this movie actually covers this idea of corporations making heartless and brainwashed consumer cloned addicts. But this theme is more subtle, so much so that it doesn't save the movie for me. It is my favorite part, though, so allow me to tell you what I picked up on and what I liked about it. Really quick, really quick. I'm trying to say that earlier, the film had lazy direction where so lazy in one scene that she points below the actual cross of where she should be pointing to. She should be pointing to Alex's house on the map where the routes all cross, but she it's such a dark scene, so maybe she didn't see it, but someone should have caught it later. She points underneath the cross and she's like, "This is where it is?" And it's like, "No, that's not where it is." Like anyways,
That's a nitpick.
no, I know, I understand that. So, um, but I'm just saying, like, that would never happen in like a super, super deep film, or super, super like well worked on film. So, anyways, so as I said, the corporations, such as those in Hollywood, have made many of us heartless and brainwashed consumer cloned addicts. The most overt way that this movie shows this is through its main villain, the witch Gladys, closely resembling Ronald McDonald. Her red hair, white face paint, and red lipstick that goes way out of the lines is just like his.
Crazy enough, Ronald McDonald just made a comeback. Like he's actually after 16 years,
Oh,
they got a commercial now.
oh yeah. Well, that yeah, that might not be. Hollywood probably talks with McDonald's. So, anyways, um, the director correct, and I talk about that. I didn't know that he was coming back, Steven, but I knew that this new thing called Visit McDonald Land comes out, and it now has adult Happy Meals. Meanwhile, the first people to fall victim to this mind control are the adults. Okay, and I'm gonna get into, you
There's a
know,
McDonald Land commercial where like Ronald's full center again, and they like show everybody, like even old characters. I was like, hell yeah, bro, he's back.
Okay, and can't wait to show you the thumbnail, Steve, because it's showing all of this stuff. But anyway, I worked so hard on it. This is the first one that wasn't made by Trevor. I know, Steve, you might hate me for what I'm about to say about that type of stuff. But so hold on. The director correctly recognized that McDonald's and its marketing aimed at children is the place where most of our society's killer programming starts, even before the lies we are told in school. Yes, Ronald McDonald is a parasite leeching not only off the planet, its innocent animals, but also its innocent children. He spreads his disease of destruction and death just like the false patriot statesmen's or
Ronald has killed
politicians.
more people in real life than Pennywise ever could.
Oh God, yeah, wow. The world is a ghetto, one where Ronald is one of many neighborhood drug dealers who have turned your parents into mindless addicts. Fentanyl. The same way he will with many of your classmates. P.S. The only way we have any hope of one day putting an end to it is to go vegan. But I won't get on that soapbox today. Anyways, I think it was eerily fitting that McDonald's came back out with their Visit McDonald's campaign the week of the release of this film. This new ad campaign is targeted at adults with its adult Happy Meals.
Almost weaponized.
Maybe this is actually a good sign that they're losing their grip on their number one fan base, adults. I guess Minecraft meals didn't do as well as they hoped.
I bought some.
Nor did the Cactus Flea Market campaign or Mr. Beast and Travis Scott meals, also targeted at man, children, consumer drones. As a vegan, I guess I saw the real world counterpart for this movie's satanic witchcraft, but I hope, or more easily saw it, but I hope more people would. And I'll leave it right there. Hope I didn't bore you. But yeah, that was the book I wrote for this review. But hopefully, I'm glad you liked it, Steve. I'm glad you laughed. And I'm glad you liked the Ronald McDonald thing. I haven't heard people talk about that yet, but
First thing I saw, I noticed when she was like waving at James in the campsite. I was like, she looks like Ronald and Pennywise with the red hair.
perfect. Waving at James in the camp.
Yeah, remember when
When?
he doesn't know if he's
Oh
either
yeah, yeah.
tripping off meth or if it's like really what he's seeing, and then he goes and
I thought that was like it as well. But see, like
James is
it
like one of
is
my favorite characters. That she was hilarious.
yeah, and Jane. None of them are really like terrible people. They just like made bad decisions. Um, anyway, like the cop too.
Oh God,
Anyway, when I saw her in the forest, I was like, okay, that looked good. Like although like it was kind of like when she's seen in the ceiling too, you couldn't really see what was
it was
going
some
on. But
hereditary shit because we didn't know exactly what it was yet.
yeah, and thank you for bringing me back to that. That's why it kind of works more. It is like it the Stephen
Pennywise.
King book and movie. Yeah, Pennywise. He's more like what's it called? Metaphysical horror or not what's the cosmic horror? Like his thing is like so
I am the eater of worlds and its children.
yeah, his thing is so like magical and so far away from any sort of like physical like rules like breaking a stick or wrapping it up with hair and dipping
You
your
can't see me.
blood in it
You'll only see what your puny little minds will allow you to.
that it's actually more believable for me. So like that, the more wilder it is, honestly, the more believable it is for me. And
Tim Curry's Pennywise is always on top of Bill Skarsgård. I'm sorry, I have to say that. I'm just saying that.
it's always on top of the other guy,
Yes, I'm sorry.
Skarsgård.
I literally own like on YouTube and on DVD the original Pennywise, and like after like the hype of the remakes died down, even though they're about to release a new like television series or whatever streaming series called It Welcome to Derry, which I'm not interested in at all, but good for Bill Skarsgård. He's getting more out of that. Part one of the Bill Skarsgård was like pretty fucking fire, and then part two, I'm like, what the fuck happened? Either way, as a whole did not fuck with it nearly as much as the goddamn 3 hour miniseries, the 2 part miniseries we got in the '90s of Tim Curry's Pennywise. That shit is just way more my shit. Like that, if you rewatch that, like holy fuck, it's just so much. It's like leagues. I don't know. I just fuck with it so much more than like the
Yeah,
fucking '80s references and goddamn the new one. Like fuck out of here, bro.
yeah, no, it's I like the first remake of the It
Yeah,
Part
part
One.
one was okay. Part one was pretty good.
I love that. I thought part two was like boring though.
Part two is trash. Yeah.
And meanwhile, the miniseries is to me good throughout, but it has
Yes.
like a timeless quality where it's not there's no CGI, there's no like
Yeah, there's claymation.
stuff that takes you out so harshly. Like I mean, Not to crap on CGI. I understand it. I'm okay with it. Sometimes I really love it. Sometimes I don't even really notice it at all. Hardly notice it. A lot of the Fantastic Four hardly noticed it in. A lot of Superman hardly noticed it in. But
Except when
the
Superman's foot grows like a little. Like the fuck?
well, that wasn't even CGI, Steven. That's how a wide angle lens, if stuff's close to a wide angle lens, it actually distorts it, or at the at the border of the frame.
That's my Pennywise. That'll always be my Pennywise.
Yeah, that one, and it's great because I don't care. Like we have that one for the rest of the time. I don't care. Like that's the same way I feel about the new Harry Potter. Like I pray that it's better than the original Harry Potter
There will
movies.
be certain things that are better about it, but we'll
Yeah,
always still look at the originals.
yeah, but we'll always still have these classic movies that to me are they are on the level of the books. Honestly, to me, I think that they do some things better than the books, and they do their own things that the book doesn't. And
You put your name in the goblet of fire, Harry. Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
that was not
Dumbledore
one of
said
them.
calmly.
Yeah, that was not one of them. But that's okay. I just
I love
ignore
that
that.
part. That's what I remember though.
Yeah, and honestly, yeah, it's like that's I don't. Yeah, I don't
I also
really.
love one of my other favorite parts. Look at me.
Yeah, no, they're like I think they're amazing actors too. Daniel Radcliffe, like all of them are amazing children actors. First movie, they're so believable. Up
First
to the
movie makes
obviously
me
the last one.
cry every goddamn time. Crazy.
We're talking a lot about stuff that isn't weapons. I don't know if we should end it here, but is there anything else you want to say about weapons, Steve?
It was a breath of fresh air in the horror, genre, I'd say, which is why it's getting the recognition it is. Because in a world full of
Right.
remakes and reboots and fucking everything IP, that's the reason why I feel like that. And this movie, like, I didn't even think about it like with the Marvel thing, but you're right in a way. Like, and I noticed the actors, but the movie has Marvel charm because it's like it's witty. And so, like, you're not sitting there one in the boring parts, just like, oh god, get to the cool shit. Like, the characters are actually entertaining on their own when they're just like focusing on like normal day shit because they're like making jokes every now and then. So it had Marvel charm. So you put Marvel charm with Marvel actors in a original movie that's not based on anything except some guy's own idea. I think that's how it got its success. So at the end of the day, even if it's not everybody's cup of tea and it's the mystery is better than when you actually find out what really is going on, at least you were entertained. That's all I ever want out of a movie. If I got entertainment out of the movie, then it succeeded in my opinion. That's I feel like the majority of how people feel. You don't want to go to a movie. This is why Snow White failed so fucking hard. You don't want to go to a movie and be told that you're fucking terrible and everything that you like want out of fantasy is bullshit. They don't want to lecture. People want to fucking go to the movies and like turn their brain off sometimes and just like sit down and like have a good fucking time. And the audience that I was in at Weapons, and I went to see it with a girl, so it was even better. Fucking awesome. So like, it was a good fucking experience
Yeah, I like that we both came to a seven, and
for different
slight
reasons.
yeah, slightly different reasons. A lot everything you said I agree with. But I'm just saying, yeah, like, and I feel that way. But also, I'm happy that a horror movie fan didn't just give it a 10. You know, like,
Hell no.
yeah,
A 10 should be rare nowadays. Like
yeah,
you want a 10 of a horror movie? There's an example right here. Like you already said.
that's just a good movie.
That's just a good.
Yeah,
That's a 10 horror movie.
that really
Uh,
puts you into place.
right. Shit, it's so hard to even like try to even think of other. Oh, well, I mean, my favorite Halloween, the original, but I wouldn't even call that a 10. That movie I'd give a 9 if any, and that's my favorite like fucking horror movie of all time. But I can even say that like the movie's not perfect, but it's like a 9.5, like almost perfect. It just there's a few things where it's like I don't know, it's a little dull in parts, but like I fucking love Halloween. Michael Myers has always been my favorite, of all that. So but that's not that's just a kind of like my own taste. Like Shining is literally a 10, like on its like own merit. So it's hard to give a horror movie a 10. Horror movies are just always usually looked at as a lesser kind of film, which sucks because there are really good fucking horror movies that like add a lot to the genre. Exorcist, fucking, like the classics like Freddy, Jason, Michael, Leatherface, like Texas Chainsaw is fucking amazing. That's almost a 10. That's like probably like an 8 or a 9. So maybe even yeah, like a 9, like 9.5, like
To
Halloween.
me,
So
to
yeah.
me, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a 10. Halloween, yeah, 9. And Scream like 9, 9. Yeah, Scream's like a 9.
Oh shit, yeah,
Um,
Scream. Almost forgot that guy. He's up there as a 9. He literally brought slashers back. Thank God.
I'm just trying to think of some other horror movies while we're on the subject that I love so much. A lot of the
Oh,
movies that are, Mhm.
here's 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 what I could also I would give this as far as a Halloween movie. This might be even better than like objectively better than the original Halloween. Freaking Trick or Treat.
Yeah, I remember you showed me that. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but I think that's like a 7, you know.
Jesus Christ, I love that movie. Like that if there's a movie that encompasses Halloween, it's that Halloween and Monster House. Those are like the top 3 of Halloween movies that have Halloween spirit out of their ass. I'd
Monster
say.
House masterpiece.
Oh, I love Monster House right here.
Hereditary, I would say is like a 9.5.
Hell no, that's like a 6 or a 7 for me. Like the
The new Heretic movie is probably like a 8.5 or 9. Or yeah.
yeah.
Um yeah. Yeah, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre other than The Shining is my favorite. I think that movie is outstanding. Like extremely deep. It probably has I haven't seen it in so long, but I knew it was deep. I think it has a lot to do with what this movie has to do with like the
Lashing out at society in a lot of ways. That
oh,
movie.
and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, another 10. That's my other favorite horror movie of all time.
That's a cult classic, guilty pleasure.
No, but that movie is super smart.
Lick my plate, you dog dick.
Oh, and then House of a Thousand Corpses is like a 9.
Holy fuck! How could I not mention that one? That's like right next to my bed. It's even
Oh,
better than this one.
yeah. Didn't really care for Devil's Rejects.
No, this movie is a fucking masterpiece. If I had to like Rob Zombie's best and first film, somehow felt like he peaked in his fucking first movie. I mean, because
Well,
he was
that's
hungry. That's
what he
like
wanted to do his whole life.
yeah, when
Yeah.
a director literally like is hungry like that, you can see the passion, and that's all I get out of this movie. That's straight passion right there. God, I love that movie.
It's what he was thinking about the most probably for the longest amount of time because
Oh,
after that they're expecting to make a movie every 2 years. So it's like,
right.
oh,
He yeah, exactly. That's true. He always wanted to like you could see his real passion besides making a movie was like making a goddamn haunted house. And that movie feels like just a haunted house come to life. And even before House of a Thousand Corpses was ever considered as a movie, it was supposed to be a house at Halloween Horror Nights, which it eventually would become. And that's the fucking coolest part. Like, and Universal didn't even want to like, this history on that, like little history is that Universal backed that movie, then they said they would have gave it X-rated 17, so they shelved it. Then he said, "Fuck that." He bought the rights back to his movie. Then he brought it to MGM. MGM was gonna put the movie out, and then he insulted MGM. They're like, "Oh, so it was too violent and disgusting for Universal." He's like, "Yeah, apparently people at MGM don't have morals here," and they didn't like that, so they're like, "Fuck you." So they dropped the movie again. Then he literally had to buy it again and get it. Then finally, I think Lionsgate. I think that's like yeah. I think it's yeah. I don't know, but pretty sure it's Lionsgate. So that final yeah. Oh shit yeah. Lionsgate. Yay. So yeah, Lionsgate finally is the one who that movie got shelved, but so thank God he finally found a company. The third time's the charm, I guess.
yeah.
Love that.
I
Love that.
I I know a lot of passion went into that movie and like a lot I like when they don't have so much budget to where they can just
Right.
pay for, CGI and it gets cluttered, you know.
Hey, poopy pants.
Yeah. Is there any good like alien horror movies? Oh, Alien,
Alien.
but
Yeah, well, I almost mentioned Alien, like the original, just because
yeah,
that is like one of the best sci-fi horror movies. But because it has sci-fi in front of it, I didn't necessarily. But like, I mean, it's right up there with this. Like, that's
yeah,
Alien might be like a nine. I mean, not might. Alien is a nine. Might even be a 10 for some people. For me, it's probably like a 9.5 ish. But I mean, it is like a nearly perfect fucking sci-fi horror movie. It's probably the ultimate sci-fi horror movie. I love Predator also, but Predator is more sci-fi horror action. Not as much emphasis
right.
on the horror. But
Yeah, and I actually like the remake done by Rob Zombie of Halloween, the original. Um,
yeah, I grew. I remember
enjoy a
watching
lot.
that movie for the first time, and I actually like paused that shit, and I had to like walk away. I'm like, when Spy
Yeah,
Kids was getting
disgusting.
when Spy Kids was getting beaten fucking to death by a stick. I'm like,
Yep.
what the fuck am I watching? Like, this is not goddamn Halloween. And then I kind of like sat back a little, and then I remembered everything that James Rolfe, AVGN Angry Video Game Nerd, said. He told us that he got Rob Zombie got the blessing from John Carpenter back when they were cool, because now they don't really fuck with each other because Rob Zombie acted like a dick about being about, because we all know that Rob Zombie really wants to make a remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So like that's why like there's a lot of aspects of that in Halloween remake. Like Michael's obsessed with making masks. Like I mean, he's like got the body build of Leatherface. And that's why literally his first movie, House of a Thousand Corpses, basically is his own Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But yeah, no, so after a while though, of giving the movie like a chance and seeing it as a different beast, uh, I forget who like put it this way. I think AVGN, but oh yeah, I think it was Angry Video Game Nerd. Literally, he put it the simplest way you could do it. The original Halloween movie is nature, where Michael Myers was just always born evil. Like there is no reason, he came from a normal
Nice.
family. And then the remake goes the complete opposite route of nurture, where Michael Myers is literally fucked from the beginning. He's growing up in a house full of degenerates and fucking rednecks that curse every second, like like me. And
Yeah. Well, but
so
they're mean people.
right, and everybody's horrible. Like and it's so crazy. A lot of people even point out Michael Myers is like one of the least horrible people in Haddonfield in the remake. Like most people in Haddonfield in the remake are like
Right.
scumbags and shit. So like Michael doesn't even stand out anymore. But there's a lot of reasons I also fuck with the movie. Like besides like seeing it in a different light, that Michael Myers to me is fucking terrifying. Like almost even more so. I mean, not more so than the original. The original is the boogeyman, but the remake one, like I don't know, like the fucking he like towers over everybody, and that's Rob Zombie compensating in a way. But I don't know, like I love the brown, like the brown overalls. That's why I went out of my way and paid out the ass for that figure. I always wanted like a Rob Zombie Michael figure, and he's right underneath my 1978 original Michael figure. I don't know, so yeah, I'm glad that I gave that shit another chance. And then it's crazy because then for a while I even liked Halloween 2 remake even more than the original. I kind of like I go like back and forth, but I definitely ended up liking the original remake more. But the second one I used to fuck with even harder because that movie's not even a remake of anything. Like the
Yeah.
first 10 minutes of the movie is like a sub remake of
Interesting.
the first 10 minutes is a sub remake of Halloween 2. And then like you find out that the hospital scene didn't even fucking happen in his universe. It's a dream Laurie keeps having. So the second one like was just straight up more of a Rob Zombie film where he could just finally like break free from, because you can tell in the first movie the first remake he made of Halloween, he literally loses interest in his own movie that he's making like halfway
Yeah.
through, because the first half of the movie is like a 40-minute origin story that we never got to see behind the scenes of Michael, even though it's a different completely direction and universe. And then literally, what does he end up doing after all that shit? He literally does a shot for shot, almost remake of the original. So, and he even said after he made the original, he's like the remake of the original. He's like, "Oh, I'm never gonna do another Halloween movie." And then Mustafa Kod's son, Junior, whatever, fucking's like money. And then he's like, "Okay, I'll do another one." And then
Yeah.
so like at the end of the day, you can't fucking say no to big paycheck. I guess that's what keeps slashers alive is the money. That's what brought Jason back. Jason's now literally sponsored by Angry Orchard, which is fucking amazing to me. He got brought back from the dead after 16 years or whatever by fucking beer. So that just shows you like how sellout slashers are. But like, I mean, if you're gonna sell out, you gotta sell out.
Yeah. That's Wayne's World. But um, so two things, Steve, or three things, real quick. Halloween 2, we used to hate. I remember we saw it in theaters and didn't like it. The remake, we didn't like
No,
it.
yeah, well, I thought it was just like redneck trash, like the first one. So
Okay, well, now that you're saying it's good, I want to see it. And now,
it's not
eh,
terrible. Yeah.
yeah, okay. And then Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, another masterpiece horror film.
That I used to
Uh,
hate, and then I finally like saw it as it's not supposed to be. You know, it's literally stands on its own. They wanted to. They got tired. They're like, once we killed the boogeyman in Halloween 2, they were originally the plan was if they were going to continue the way that they did Halloween 3, every Halloween movie going forward was going to be an anthology movie separate from Michael Myers' story. They were going to just focus on happening on Halloween night or around Halloween and just going with a different story, which almost like Goosebumps. But it ended up becoming the black sheep because once it came out originally, the general audience was like, where the fuck's Michael Myers? Fuck this movie. It's
yeah,
like,
didn't make sense after having two that had him in it.
right. So then they like then Mustafa Qad, the Indian guy who owned the rights to, and still I think his family still owns the rights to Michael Myers.
Mhm.
They're like he's like, no, wait, I want Michael Myers back, and they're like he burned to death. He's in a coma.
He's in a coma. Oh
Yeah.
boy,
Yeah, so I mean, I actually the crazy thing is I love Halloween 4. Like that's one of the most purest like
that's
sequels.
good.
It's literally just like Halloween again, like 10 years
He's
later. So
yeah, and he's a supernatural thing they go into in the
yeah,
sixth
right.
film.
Oh yeah, well Michael Myers is literally
Yeah,
just he's the fucking boogeyman. But yeah, one and even though I love 5 and 6, which is where the Cult of Thorn bullshit comes into play, once it's the same thing as the mystery being revealed too much. Once you get way too familiar with the fucking thing that you're like supposed to be like not really knowing what the hell's going on, then it starts to lose its charm and it's less scary. And that's why after Halloween 6, when they basically explained you could defeat Michael Myers by putting stones in a fucking like circle, I'm like, fuck this shit. So that's why they went back and they did Halloween H2O, which everybody always this is the crazy. I'm in a minority here. Everybody always fucking loves Halloween H2O. Oh, it's great. I'm like, yeah, I love that Lori comes back and she like basically gets to like have her fucking final revenge, even though like that's horseshit because they brought him back and like in Resurrection because they said that the person she cut the head off was like somebody he dressed in the suit. I'm like, it's horseshit. But bottom line is Halloween 7 to me is just like kind of a lazy revival of that whole thing. First of all, it's supposed to consider that Halloween 1 and 2 happened. They're still this isn't where like the new one where like it makes a little more sense where only Halloween 1 is the continuity goes after that. This one still kept Halloween 2 in the continuity, and yet we never fucking hear any mention of how Michael survived the fire. He doesn't have any burns. I guess it's supposed to be the supernatural bullshit. He has both of his eyes. His mask looks goofy, and that's because they literally couldn't decide on a mask they wanted to use for that movie. The director wanted one mask, the mask guy wanted one mask, and somebody else. So then they ended up using three masks throughout the movie. Even at one point, they had a CGI over Michael's mask. It just is a fucking shit show. So everybody always tries telling me, "Oh, Halloween H2O is up there." I'm like, actually fucking like Resurrection if it sounds horrible, but I like Resurrection almost a little more than Halloween H2O because for me the only good part of Halloween H2O is the last 15 minutes where Laurie Strode goes like in the battle with Michael, but like everything before that I'm like, bro, like this just isn't my thing. Halloween Resurrection at least tried something new. They tried doing found footage Halloween movie, which was hilarious because Blair Witch was popular at the time. That's also a great fucking movie. Just off the side note, Blair Witch's original is fucking gorgeous. Like that, you want to talk about a movie that doesn't tell you shit, or at least in the original. Like Blair Witch is like straight up a movie where like you don't know what the fuck's going on. And I used to always shit on that movie, like everybody likes to. Like Blumhouse, they're like literally in an interview, they're like, "What's the worst thing you ever think happened to horror movies?" And Blumhouse was like, "Oh, I don't know, Blair Witch Project." I'm like, "Oh, fuck you, that's a cheap shot." Because like everybody's like, oh, the movie is just kids holding cameras out in the woods and yelling at each other. I'm like, oh my god! But like, I rewatched that movie a few years back, and I was like so glad I have it on DVD because holy shit, that movie is way creepier than people fucking try to give it credit for. They just try to say it's like some shitty found footage movie. I think it's the found footage movie. Everybody likes to say Paranormal Activity is the best found footage movie. Fuck out of here, bro. Paranormal Activity, the only good part of that movie is the last goddamn 2 minutes when Katie gets dragged off into a room. I'm like, fuck that, bro. Like Blair Witch, the whole movie, I'm like fucking on the edge of my seat after I rewatched it as an adult, and I'm like, fuck, these kids are so fucked, and like they literally like were warned time and time, don't go out into those woods, and like there's a legend behind it. There's literally a fucking documentary that tries to act like all those events were real, which is awesome too. They tried the whole marketing campaign. They tried saying that those kids really went missing. That's why the actors used their real names, and so there was just so much effort that people don't even appreciate about Blair Witch. Not to get off topic, but yeah, love horror movies. The end.
No, you fit it perfectly. You said
Oh,
you know
that's a
that
witch.
movie.
There you go. It's a
It
witch.
well, yeah, that was my first thought when you said it, but you also brought up the huge point that like it hides everything, and that's
Oh, that
why it
movie
was
didn't tell
scary.
you. Literally, that's
Yeah.
the reason. That's the main reason. There was apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but what I've heard from people all around, like talk about that movie is there is supposed to be a scene where they panned over and they showed somebody in a witch costume, like it's supposed to be the Blair Witch, but because the cameras were so fucking shaky and they literally were like doing this shit like handheld and like there was no like there was direction, but it's almost like how we did Slasher Friends, where they just told you that what the scene's gonna be like, and then they let the actors completely improvise a lot of shit. You never even see one glimpse of the Blair Witch. So at the end of the day, I think James Rolfe talked about this, or some other reviewers. I think some of my favorite, like Decker Shadow. You don't even know if this movie at the end of the day is supernatural, if it's the kids fucking with one another, if it's like, like them just getting like cabin fever crazy in the woods where they like are just losing their fucking minds. And that's the beauty of that movie. It's very subjective, and you can literally leave it up to the viewer where like you can decide if it was a supernatural event happening, which I think it was, but I also think it's them turning on each other because
Yeah.
they're literally fucking stuck in the woods. It's a combination of paranormal and fucking like
Paranoia.
psychological, right? Paranoia. So that's why that movie's brilliant. That doesn't not get enough credit, and that's because there's been so many other like
It used to.
sequels. Yeah,
It
it
used
used
to.
to, and then they tried mucking it up with like a Blair Witch Book of Darkness, which is the second one. Which that movie's good in its own way as a Scooby Doo fucking knockoff movie, but I'm like this movie is trash compared to any of the part of the original. And then we had years later, I think in 2016, we got just called I think it was called Blair Witch Project, which was trying to be like a legacy reboot, like how we always get those now, where the brother of the younger brother of the main girl who went missing, he's like, oh, I'm gonna find my sister off this shitty fucking little one image I see like that's out there of her like being alive in the cabin. I'm like, you're gonna go out in those woods where you know your sister and her friends died, sacrifice your friends just because you have a hunch that she's still alive. I'm like, you're dumb as fuck. And this movie just also didn't have any of the soul that the original had. They're using like they're like it's almost a combination of found footage, but it looks way too fucking polished, so everything looks way too Hollywoodized. And they're doing gimmicks of using drones, which that part I didn't mind because that's like upping the
Yeah.
modernization of it.
Yeah,
But
using it for a real reason, good reason.
right, but the fact that the movie looked, and also the fact that the movie was way too scripted. Like I said, the original movie, Blair Witch, they let the actors
Yep.
just have free fucking reign and just like act out what they were feeling in the scene. They had multiple takes, but the remake was or the reboot was like just straight up on a fucking train track, like bullshit.
Steve, I want to cut it now because I don't want to go over an hour. But Nosferatu, another classic for me, new one. The other thing I want to say is that the Grinch, the Jim Carrey one, that mask he puts on is so scary. Exactly. And I was scared of that when I was a kid. Scooby Doo, shouts out Scooby Doo. That's baby horror. That's the best ever. Some of the best ever. That movie, even though I don't know if it's scary or not, but the CGI one, I don't think I ever found it scary, but it's good. And so are all of the or the straight
Zombie
to DVD.
Island.
Yeah, Zombie Island, and then
That's the
the
best
other
Scooby Doo movie.
classics. Then very last thing, Slasher Steve. You go on YouTube and you type in at Slasher Steve, the way he did it without a space there, and you will find Steven, me and Lucas's childhood basically, because Steven and Lucas got together in middle school when and they created something called Slasher Friends, and I was a star in it. Freddy Krueger, like Steve said, it was very unscripted, but Steve would direct, and with Pook's help, they would come up with the basic outline for the show, the episode, and then they would tell us like what we're supposed to do in each scene or what's supposed to be accomplished in each scene. But he would allow us, and Lucas and Steve would allow us to just kind of say whatever we wanted to, and that kept it really good. But Steve, we only have 30 seconds. Do you want to say something real quick before you go?
Yeah, here, 30 seconds. Shit, shit, shit. Load, 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 load. Hold on, hold on. Fuck,
Hmm.
fuck, fuck. Load, load. Here we go. Here we go. This is what you look for, people. Shit. How the fuck do I get to it? How the fuck do you get to your page? Oh, view your channel. I'm stupid.
All right, we got
All
5 seconds.
right, here you go.
All right,
Sauce.
love you. Bye. Underscore underneath. Bye. Love you. Bye.